Ken Hovind has recently put out several videos claiming to debunk the flat earth. Now he has this young helper named Edrique, Visser, come along and help him out as well. Again, trying to debunk the flat earth. I find it interesting, the occult with this guy, and I'll get into that. Of course, with the orange shirt, Texas Longhorns, and just taking a look at the Texas Longhorns. Of course, they call these the hook'em horns, but they're nothing more than devil horns. Any way to incorporate the occult into the education system. And the reason Ken Hovind uses Edrique, this younger guy here, some might look at Ken Hovind as older, out of touch. So they're trying to get both audiences, both demographics with the older and younger crowd. Now let's take a listen to what Ken Hovind says here, which I find unbelievable for a guy that pushes the Bible. He's pushing science in science books to prove the ball earth. What a complete joke. Take a listen.
You're not defending the Bible.
Okay, go ahead. So these are just kind of going to go rapid fire. 3 things that me and Brother Hovind came up with here.
All right. Well, the transit of Mercury and Venus. Most earth science books will show a picture of something like this, showing that the way the solar system is laid out, you have Venus and Mercury and Venus.
Again, he's using a science book to prove the ball earth. Why not use the Bible? And the simple reason Ken Hovind doesn't use the Bible, he knows what the Bible states. It states the earth is firm and immovable. It's fixed. Understand here, Ken Hovind, I stated this many times where he does really good work when it comes to disproving evolution, but this is how deceivers work. Telling a lot of truth, one topic, but another area, 100% disinfo, mixing truth with lies, and that's what, again, disinfo agents do. Now take a listen to these two as they claim, if the earth was flat, you'd be able to see Tokyo from the United States using a telescope. Completely ridiculous. I'll play this clip, and I'll explain.
Yeah, if the earth is flat, I should be able to see Tokyo.
Yes,
with a really good telescope.
Actually, somebody said in a video one time that said if you had a military-grade telescope, you could see Tokyo.
This is completely incorrect. It's called the vanishing point, just like these telephone poles. As you go down here, it's not even that far of a distance. Let's take a look at actual telephone poles here, just for reference. They're all the same height. As you go along, it appears the poles get shorter. They're not. It's all about perspective. This is not even that far. So even with a telescope, you'll be able to see further down the line, but there's a certain point you can no longer see anymore. And I'll continue on with the video with Ken Hovind and Edrique talking about perspective. And they basically mock it, believing it does not exist. It's not something to even consider. Take a listen here.
If we're flat with their model, why does the sun go below the horizon ever?
They would say because of perspective. That is the answer that I get.
Okay. Which is not an answer at all.
Yeah, they say it's not an answer. Understand, this is why when you see the horizon, you see basically only half a sun, because the perspective, again, just like the telephone poles, like I pointed out, are all the same height. The lakes do not disappear per se. It's, again, perspective. Now take a look at this portion from their presentation. Just doesn't add up. They don't know what they're talking about. For those that have poor discernment or don't understand how the flat earth works and the sun, they're not going to get it. They're going to be deceived by these two. Take a listen.
Like people to do is imagine each one of these lights is the distance the sun is every hour. Now you notice that it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and it appears as it's going down. But
Earth and the sun, supposedly 93 million miles away, according to science, the sun should not appear smaller. It should be the same size. So again, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Continue.
How long does this hallway need to be before it disappears below the carpet?
That could be infinite. That hallway could go forever.
Yep.
The hallway could be 10 feet high, 6 feet wide, forever.
Forever. And that light would, and you can turn all the lights off and turn off that light 10 miles away, 50 miles away, 200 miles away, and you will still be able to see that light. Although very small, you'd be able to see that light.
For two people supposedly trying to debunk the flat earth, it makes absolutely no sense, especially what Edrique just said here. Let's take a look at the curvature chart, the supposed curve of the ball earth. He just said at 200 miles, you would still be able to see the light down that corridor. Here's the problem. At 200 miles, the curvature would be over 5 miles. So, again, they're confused. They make absolutely no sense defending the supposed ball earth theory. Now let's take a look here at Edrique's demonstration video, and I find this very interesting. It's all about, he's trying to debunk the perspective with the flat earth, and I find it very interesting. He uses a pine cone, a reference to the pineal gland, as I showed here before in previous videos. It's all about the occult. Again, like I mentioned before, with him with his Texas Longhorns shirt, the orange, just a very interesting selection of a shirt that he would use for this presentation. Again, these deceivers are all about the occult. Let's take a look here at this video again when I'm talking about, we're using the demonstration with the pine cone. Play it a little bit here.
Yeah, I'm just moving this pine cone. And I walk up to it, move it, walk away from it, and then walk back to it, move it another 15 yards or so.
Again, out of all the props he can use, he uses a pine cone. Find that pretty interesting. Now let's take a look here at the very last portion with Ken Hovind talking about the flat earth and basically mocking it. Play this little clip here.
Is it hooked to a rope at the North Pole? What is causing the sun to go in it? Yeah, we know gravitational things do that now, causing the Earth to go in an orbit around the sun because of the gravitational rope, for lack of a better word.
See, this is where Ken Hovind is total contradicting himself. He's basically mocking the flat earth, saying what's holding the sun, basically going around the flat earth, what, a rope? And then he talks about the supposed ball earth in the sun and the gravitational force, and he says, for a lack of a better term, a rope. So he mocks the flat earth using a rope as a reference. Then he says, for a lack of a better term, for the supposed sun going around the ball earth, he uses, for a lack of a better term, a rope. Total hypocrite, total contradiction. Now just take a listen to what Ken Hovind says here. Doesn't understand the flat earth model, and he mentions gravity. Take a listen.
There's no gravity on the flat earth model.
No such thing as gravity.
No.
So again, Ken Hovind's making videos trying to debunk the flat earth. He doesn't even understand the flat earth model. What a complete joke. Using science books, again, as part of his demonstrations to prove we live on a ball earth. What about the Bible, Ken? He knows exactly what the Bible states, that we live on a fixed flat earth that's immovable. But again, he cannot use the Bible during his demonstrations because he knows exactly what the Bible states. Ken Hovind, nothing but a deceiver.
And if it's a ball above a flat surface, it's lighting up the whole entire flat surface.
Still lights up the whole surface.
The whole surface.
Cannot have nighttime. Cannot have nighttime. Cannot have nighttime.